We're here in Billund, not in Rome, but this is Mary, and you brought a very special model. So first of all, so good to see you.
Nice to see you as well.
This is the new architecture model for 2025, and you can give us all details right now.
All right. So this is the Trevi fountain. This is something that we have built before in the LEGO architecture line, but this time it's coming back at a much larger scale. This is really giving us the chance to dive into some of those classic Baroque details, such as various columns, tiny pillars, as well as including the first full scale or full complete minifigure. This is not minifigure scale. These statues are huge in comparison to everyone that visits, but you can kind of get a sense with the little lampposts and stairs that are along the side to see how grand this actually is in real life.
I think also the colors are special, isn't it? It seems a little bit like there's orange there. Is it right? Something like orange?
So this color in the back of the facade is a light nougat, as well as we've used some tan in it. And we really wanted to capture what it feels like to visit on a warm summer's day. Maybe draw out some memories for people who have been there on vacation. And although the Trevi fountain in real life is carved from the same stone almost through its entirety, we have to remember that it has setting around it. So this has a special focus on the entire environment when you're going. The piazza is surrounded by other buildings that are all very bright, colorful hues, and the light kind of gets captured in there and casts different shades along it. And that's also brought out in some of the gradient that's in the water with different colors to represent where shadow is or where it's a little bit deeper. You can see the tan underneath the transparent blue color to show where the water's thinly going over rocks. And then the rock work itself is, although it's still the same stone, it's travertine, it has a little bit of a different texture, so it catches the light in a different way, which makes it a little bit darker, and then a dark tan when it is touching the water and is being splashed on every single day.
How many parts are there?
It is 1,880 elements.
Okay, so we've seen the Trevi fountain before in the architecture series. Yeah. Why do we need a bigger one?
Well, I'm assuming that not everybody has the previous model as well. And that was created when the architecture line looked a little bit different. So then I think there was slightly a different lens that was being taken. And with this one, we've gotten the scale and the color and the liberty to add a lot more details. And the previous model is beautiful, and I love how it looks along with the previous architecture collection. But the architecture line has grown and developed, and I think this has developed along with it.
Have you ever been there in Rome and seen the original one?
So I first went in 2019. I went and saw the Trevi fountain in person. I got my picture in front. I threw my coin in. And then I also saw the version that was made at the LEGO store in Rome out of LEGO bricks. And now, after I was able to design this, that was 5 years ago. After I was able to design this, I went and visited it again, and I was able to go I was staring at that pillar for months. Now here it is in real life, and really taking it all in. And yeah, it's beautiful.
5 years?
It was 5 years ago when I first visited.
You visited.
Yeah.
But when you started to develop the set?
This took me about 5 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you are involved in architecture generally, or is it your first architecture model?
This is my first architecture set, but I've made some icon sets, and the architecture and icons teams work very closely together. Yeah.
This sounds good. In general, I like the Trevi fountain. I haven't been to Rome yet. What a shame I have to go there at one fine day. But look at this very iconic build here. What is your favorite part of it?
I think my favorite part is either the way that I've used color throughout the model and the way that I think it gives a very warm and welcoming vibe. But I also really, really love some of the details that I've added with the window trim. I've used some inverted elements to get that detail, and also just the little clips on the top to get there are these tiny columns that are on the top of the balcony, and it's just all these little things. I loved how it makes the whole in the end.
So what has been the biggest challenge in the whole design process?
Yeah, that's a fair question. I think the most challenging thing for me was actually getting a really strong and structured base to it, which maybe isn't the most exciting answer, but it really is the literal foundation for this model. And when you're building it, you need to be able to really press on it. You need to be able to clip in everything that you're putting in there, and it all starts from the base. So I spent a lot of time developing a good way to build it. So it's symmetrical, it feels nice, it flows, but it's also really strong.
It looks really stunning, I have to say. So most people will show this like this in the room, but you could always turn it around and show the back. And this is obviously very wide, and you can tell us why it is so.
Yes, so if you don't know, the Trevi Fountain isn't freestanding. It's actually the facade on a building. So that building is, I think it's technically a palace, but it is used as a museum. But when we were talking to people who have visited or maybe haven't visited, just seen pictures, a lot of people don't realize that it's actually part of a building. They picture the fountain, and this is what they picture. And we didn't want to kind of waste time and energy on parts that weren't resonating with people.
Yeah. So, all in all, I mean, we've seen many architecture sets in the past. Now we've seen like re-releases, like from sets which have been out there already. There are some people who say, there are so many other builds in the world. So you personally, would you like to see more like re-releases, or would you like, hey, it would be fun to do something brand new? Or do you think, I mean, such iconic builds, they can be out there every 10 years?
I think it's hard because I love both. I think it's really nice to be able to bring this back because not everyone's been a LEGO fan for 10 years. And it's not accessible to everyone, and it's not accessible in this way and at this size. And I think when you're building things, probably out of any medium, but especially out of LEGO bricks, there's just so many ways to create it. I think it would be a shame if we just said we only do one once and we'll never touch it again, because there's so many people that haven't gotten the chance.
When you say 5 months you have time for the set, is it 5 months only working on this set, or do you have different sets in the time, or how is your daily work? So 5 months only one set, only white bricks, and or how it is?
Yeah, okay, so I would say like about 5 months to when it was handed to me, and there was a sketch model. Some other great designers worked on it just to get the concept across. And then I took it through a phase where we refine it. And that was my main focus for those 5 months, but I have a lot of other tasks and responsibilities along the way, maybe finishing up a model, maybe starting some concepts for something else. But most of my focus was put into this, how the flow is to build it. Is it structurally sound? Is it nice to look at? And just taking it all in. Yeah.
Are there new parts included?
We don't we don't have any elements that were specifically developed for this set, but there are some newer ones and some that we've been able to bring back. Ones of note, I would say, are this tiny little horse head that was only in a collectible minifigure line as a toy horse, previously only seen with a print. And there's also a newer dome element that is in the light nougat color in there that happens to be the absolute perfect dimensions to finish off
so
the
from
centerpiece. Yeah.
I'm sorry. From the beginning on, was it clear that it's kind of this size, or have you tried like different versions, like this tall and this tiny, whatever?
So way back when the original LEGO Trevi Fountain came out, the designer wanted to take a try at it at a larger scale. So even at the time, he was like, "Oh, there's so many beautiful details. Like, it'd be so amazing if it could be larger." So back then, he also made a version, and it was similar, where it was 2 wide windows. And when we were revisiting this, we were able to dig that model up, the 10-year-old model, and then kind of start from there and see how people reacted to it and its presence, see how the proportions worked out. And a lot of it stems from the 2 wide windows, and because it's a window-heavy facade, all of it has to be proportional to each other and kind of flow in this.
So is the previous designer of the first version still around, and have you talked to him?
Yeah, I worked really closely with him. His name's Rock.
It's Rock. Oh, give him my best, Rock. Best wishes. Okay, he was the designer of the first one. Okay.
Yeah. And he's so passionate about it. A great person to work with. Like, just for any ideas, I had to bounce it off of him, as well as with the rest of the team. Yeah.
Sorry, Rock. I didn't know that he was the designer for it. But okay, now Henry.
Are there coins inside?
You'll have to build it and find out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, are there is there anything you would love to do, but it wasn't possible? You know, in a way, is there any challenge you said I failed in a way because it wasn't possible to build it with Lego bricks?
That's interesting. I think if maybe you had asked me at a different time in the process, there might have been things that I was hung up on, and maybe I didn't get to finish it in the exact way that I was envisioning. But at this point, I'm just so proud of how it turned out. And I'm very happy with the size, with the color balance, and yeah, I'm just excited to have it in other people's hands so they can see it too.
How you handle when now the set is ready? Sometimes in the future, when we talk about now, it will be on the shelves. Will you get also one from Lego or one set? Will you build it yourself? Will you have it on your shelf? What, or is it just worth 5 months and now it's over? My child is in the world and I will have nothing to do with it anymore.
That's a fair question. I probably will not build it by myself, but I probably will build it with some family members, or encourage other people that I know and love to build it as well, and maybe sit over their shoulder and watch.
Okay.
Yes. Anything else? So my last question would be: it is always, not easy at least to build like water. So did you try like different things? Because it looks really good, especially like this section here that it's really flow. So what do you say here? Was it really hard, or was it like very easy for you as a professional Lego designer?
We did take a few different attempts with the waterfall. We tried using a few more organic pieces, maybe trying to break it up a little bit. But I would say what dictated this end result was a lot about the building flow. So it's built sideways for about half of it, and then it's layered on top and locked in some other ways. And we really wanted that to be a smooth building process, because with a lot of these transparent elements, it can be easy to misplace things or mix things up. So we wanted that to be as clear as possible. And we also were kind of leaning on a lot of the ways water has been depicted in the architecture line. And a lot of it is with these slopes and with these transparent pieces. So we kind of wanted it to be like true to what we've done in the past.